All right. Love it or leave it. Protagonists meet in the first 10% of the book.
I love it. I prefer that. I may not always write it, but I prefer it as a reader.
Love it or leave it. Dual point of view narration.
Love it. I can't write any romance that's not that, but I can read it occasionally, but I love it.
There's always something missing.
Yeah,
All right. Love it or leave it. Third person past tense.
love it. That's the way I write.
Love it or leave it. Third act breakup or dark moment.
Love it. I try not to do like the people call it the cliche third act breakup, but I always tend to do something like that. And I love me a dark story. So
Yes. I think in angsty stories, there's going to be at least
yes,
one breakup, if not more.
exactly. I love some dark and angst and twisty plots and it's just fun. I feel like a
Yeah.
little puppet master.
Love it or leave it. Always end with an epilogue.
I love it. I personally write epilogues in my books. I love reading epilogues. I love seeing where characters end up. And I've even written some bonus epilogues for some of my books where you see them 15 years down the line. So it's kind of nice to, I think it's nice to get that glimpse because you want to believe that their happily ever after goes on forever. And it's nice to see that, I think.
Yeah. Love it or leave it. Share research in your author's note.
I love it. That's my college student soul. So if I do an extensive amount of research, I will provide sources or references or a little bit more history and background. And I like that because then I mean, I've heard a lot of people don't actually read them, but I read them. So I figure I may as
Yeah.
well include it, especially, I mean, I put the effort in. Other authors put the effort in. You might as well share your research because you never know, someone out there may really want to read more on it. So I think it's great.
Yeah. Well, are there any other romance rules I didn't ask about that you break?
I think, like I said, I kind of play off of tropes a little bit. So I have, like I said, in my first book, it's brother's best friend or best friend's little sister, but it's like this unrequited love where neither thinks they're good enough for the other one. And so I take it a little step further where it's not just they have a crush on each other. Well, it's a little more complicated than that. And then my second book is enemies to lovers in forced proximity, but we have George, who's the main male character, and he's severely physically wounded. And he's kind of having to rediscover himself and realizing how much of his pain is internal in order to come to terms with that. And then he can move on. Book three, I have a neurodivergent male main character, which was fascinating to research and write. And it's been one of my best received books. And this one is a class difference, but it's a Scottish physician and an Earl's sister who she's very sheltered, but it's because of illness, not just because, oh, she's a lady and it's proper. And it's so I've kind of like, I like to play off of common tropes and make them a little bit less expected. So I enjoy that tremendously.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like you add a layer or two to really make
Yeah,
it
I try.
angsty.
Yes, the angst.